Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. We are coming to you from our fantastic Central Washington location. Want to give a big shout out to all the friends we made last night at the Grant County Lincoln Day dinner. Thanks to the Grant County GOP for having us out. Washington, we just passed one important legislative deadline. We got a couple more coming up. And so at this point, we're beginning to filter out what gun bills are still alive and which ones appear to have died, at least for this legislative session. The good news is, two bills pretty much are dead at this point. The bad news is, well, there's 5 more still kicking around. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about Washington's 5-headed monster of gun control. Okay, Washington, we're going to talk about 7 gun bills, 5 of which are still alive and well, 2 of which appear to have died. Let me get you educated first on the deadlines that have occurred and those that are still coming up. Friday, the 21st of February, was policy committee cutoff date, which means if the bill was still sitting in a policy committee and did not make it out by Friday, the 21st, that bill has no chance of making it through the legislative session this year. There are 2 bills that actually that happened to. Next Friday, however, the 28th, all bills need to come out of any type of finance or appropriations committee that they are in. And then this is important, on March 12th, all bills will have to have been voted out of their house of origin in order to have a chance of making it through this legislative session. So for example, if you were a House bill, that House bill would have to have been passed out of the House no later than March 12th for it to have any chance of making it into law this year. Okay, let's go through the 5 bills that are unfortunately still alive and well. House Bill 1163, the license to purchase. That has a hearing on appropriations tomorrow, the 24th at 1:30. So it's already sitting in a finance committee. It has until Friday to make it out of the finance committee, but it is also scheduled to go into executive session. So here's the thing. House Bill 1163 is alive and well. It could easily come out of appropriations. It could easily go back to rules. It could easily be sent to the floor for third reading and final vote. So unfortunately, your license to purchase, the permission slip you will need in order to exercise a right, that bill is alive and well and has a good chance of making it into legislation this year. Senate Bill 5099, the Kill the FFL Bill 2.0. That went to Ways and Means on January 24th, which is obviously a finance-type committee, which means it has until Friday to make it out. And there is a high likelihood that this bill will, in fact, make it out. The majority party has already recommended that this bill be passed. So this bill is basically sitting just off the launching pad and can be placed on the House floor for vote just about at any time. Senate Bill 5098, new gun-free zones. That currently is sitting in the Transportation Committee with a hearing again tomorrow, the 24th at 1:30. Why is it in the Transportation Committee? Because there's restrictions about ferry terminals, train depots, and things like that. That bill still has time to get back out onto the House floor to be voted on and to pass out of the House of Origin well within the March 12th deadline. So unfortunately, the new gun-free zone bill is still alive and well. Now, an important thing I want you to remember there was a huge amendment where basically it exempted all CPL holders from these new gun-free zones. If that is the version of the bill that passes out of the Senate, don't be surprised when it gets over to the kids' table there in the House of Representatives, that they try to remove that amendment, and then we're going to end up in a reconciliation tug of war. So that bill could still stub its toe, but right now, Senate Bill 5098 is alive and well. House Bill 1132, this is, again, a very offensive piece of legislation because California tried this a couple years ago and every court there has smacked it down. This is a quota on how many firearms and ammunition you can purchase. That's been sitting in the Rules Committee since February 4th, and there really is no fiscal impact on the state. There's a massive fiscal impact on the FFLs in the state, but it has nothing to do with the state budget. So that can be rolled out of that committee at any point, put on the floor for a vote. So unfortunately, that bill is still alive and well as well. And then finally, House Bill 1152, the new safe storage law is a really unfortunate piece of legislation, will actually render your firearms essentially useless if they're not on your person at home. That too has been sitting in the Rules Committee since February 4th and could come out of the Rules Committee at any point, be placed on the floor for a vote. So that bill is also alive and well. Okay, 2 pieces of legislation that appear to have died, and I wouldn't really say died, but just gone into hibernation for this legislative session. That, of course, is House Bill 1504, the bill that would have driven Washington gun law completely out of this state, that was the mandatory insurance requirement. That went into a committee and has never really been heard from since. That did not make it out by the deadline. That bill is not going to proceed at least this legislative session. And then this is an interesting one because I expected this one to pass with flying colors, and that's House Bill 1386. That's the tax on all new firearms and ammunition. I just figured because it involved taxation that, the state legislature would absolutely adore it. It went into committee. It has not been heard from since. It was in a policy committee, so therefore it did not meet its deadline, and that means it will go to sleep at least for this legislative session. So that's where we sit right now, Washington. So if you want to focus your attention on the 5 bills that still have an opportunity to become law, they would be House Bill 1163, Senate Bill 5099, Senate Bill 5098, House Bill 1132, and House Bill 1152. Okay, how can you track these bills and how can you do something about it? Come on, you guys should all know that by now. You need to sign up for the Conservative Ladies of Washington's Legislative Action Center, the best in the business. Not only will they give you up-to-the-minute updates on what's going on, but they will give you action items so how you can try to stop some of this insanity. Okay, listen, if you got any more questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information's down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, you click on that link right there and you tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all that, that's down in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.